everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Sacred Rage podcast. I am Tasha Renee, your host. I am a sacred scream therapy coach. Have been for about 5 years now. If you're interested in my work or wondering what I do or how I can help you, you can find me at sisterhoodofsacredfire.com. You can find me under the same name on Instagram. You can also email me at sisterhoodofsacredfire@gmail.com. I am so excited today because I have the beautiful Maya. Let me call you Maya Lee? Leah? Or is it Maya?
Maya Leah James.
Maya Leah
James is my last name.
It's your last
Leah
name.
used to be my middle.
So you go by Maya.
Yeah.
Okay. So I have Maya with me today, and I'm just super excited. This process, if you listen to any of my other episodes, it's really laid back. So I kind of just let spirit move us. There's not really a structure to it, which I kind of enjoy. So Maya, tell us who you are, what you do, and how we can find you if we need to.
All right. Thank you so much. It's so lovely to be here with you, Tasha. Is that how you say your name? Tasha?
Yes. Uh-huh.
And I am a conscious parent coach. I work with conscious parents who are feeling like everything that they're doing is not working and that they're failing their kids, or they're feeling really frustrated and angry and like stuck and overwhelmed. And they find me and we work together for 6 months, and they feel like all the chaos in their minds is calmed, and they feel really grounded in their self-trust, and they just have so much more self-compassion for, all the mistakes and crazy failures that happen in parenthood for every one of us, and so much more compassion for their child who's doing the best that they can too. So that's like the work that I do in the world. And so if you're a parent, you can always find me on Instagram. That's where I spend the majority of my time, under Whole Mom Maya, or on Facebook under my name, Maya Leah James. And you can always email me, maya@mayaleahjamescoaching.com.
Love the work that you're doing. I think it's so important, especially for moms. I do get a lot of moms in my work who are just like, how do I love my child and not want to strangle my child? Like, and I feel guilty that I want to strangle my child. Like, there's just so much, what did you say you worked yourself with what parents?
Conscious parents. Like people who consider themselves like, I'm doing all the right things, but I feel like I'm failing, and how does this even work? And
Yeah. What a beautiful safe space you give for parents, because so needed. Oh my gosh. So anyways, I do have a lot of women in my work, so I will definitely be sending them to you as well. So okay, so topic at hand is obviously anger, sacred rage, all the things. What prompted you to book a podcast episode with me?
Well, you reached out on Facebook, and someone had canceled at the last minute, and you were like, anybody else want to have a conversation today? And I wasn't available that day, but I was like, I have a really good rage story for you about my own parenting journey. And it's something that comes up so frequently with the parents that I work with, is I feel so angry all the time. And it's something I identify with deeply, because that's how I felt when I realized that I needed some help more than what was offered in a book or a podcast. Because I had spent quite a bit of time reading books and listening to podcasts and quote unquote doing all the right things. I had all the right information, but when I went to try to implement the conscious parenting strategies that I was reading about, I would lose my shit. And then I would turn that anger on myself. Like, what the fuck is wrong with me? I hope it's okay to swear. I do that.
Oh no, please do. Yes. I mean, girl, okay. My favorite word is fuck. Yes, of course.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. Okay, we're in the good company. So yeah, I was constantly wondering what the fuck was wrong with me, and I was believing that I was ruining my child, and I was in deep, deep shame, because like, I'm a smart, intelligent, well-educated person. I know how to do things competently, and here I am at home losing my shit all the time. Like, the words that were coming out of my brain were like, I should be better than this. And that doesn't feel good.
No.
Terrible. And it wasn't helping me connect with my kid at all. It was just creating a bigger and bigger chasm between us.
Yeah, it was doing the exact opposite.
Yeah. I wanted to run away. literally sitting in my car one day thinking, well, I could just turn my car on and drive away and never come back. And that's when it hit me like, oh, I'm really considering this. So that's scary. I need help. And I am not alone. Now that I've had these conversations with so many parents who are in deep pain and they're just like, I really thought that I was ready for this. I really thought that I could do a better job. And I don't recognize myself. There's so many of us out there and we are all feeling really isolated and alone in this experience. And it is not unique, unfortunately.
No, it's not. I really appreciate you having the courage to say those exact words of, I wanted to just leave.
Mm-hmm.
I think that so many parents do feel that, and they can't even mutter those words out loud because there's so much guilt attached to that. But like,
Yeah.
it is such a human thing to like be so overwhelmed that you literally want to check out. It doesn't matter if it's your kids, it doesn't matter if it's your animals, it doesn't matter if it's life in general. I mean, I, who am not suicidal, have had many thoughts, especially with the way the world is and the way how bad things have gotten from time to time, of just like, God, it would just be so much easier just to not fucking be here. Like, why am I here? Or like even trying to do this work over and over again and make it work. And it's like, you're so called to do something that your soul is telling you're supposed to do. And you try for years to do it and it doesn't actually work. And you're left with this feeling of like, what the fuck is the point then? Like, why am I supposed, why do I even need to be here? So I think it goes along with that. So it's just really heavy thoughts. So tell me what happened when you talk about the rage part of it, like what happened after that?
Woo. Well, it's been a journey. I think that my rage started when my son was an infant, but it really, really, really like amplified when he became a toddler. And since that time, he's 9 now. So since he was about 2 years old, I just like my rage was so just palpable on the surface that I was exploding a lot on my husband and my child, and I was feeling very, just that rage is really the best word to say it. And I didn't have words to explain why or where that was coming from.
Can I interrupt you? I just want to interrupt you for a minute. Can you give us examples so that other people can be like, oh shit, I was doing that too? If you feel comfortable, can you give examples of what it was you were doing or saying to your son and your husband that were like rageful?
Oh, okay. Let's come up with some examples. So I was feeling really, really resentful of my husband because he could just like do anything, like take a shower without asking permission. Or my son would do something that a 2-year-old normally does, like, I want the green cup, and then you hand them the green cup, and then they're like, no, I want the green, I want the purple cup. And it's like, those simple things, I was telling myself, like, what a stupid thing to get upset about. Like, I was directing that anger at my child, thinking that he was being dumb for being upset about that. And I was then turning that rage to myself, like, why am I so upset about this? Like, it's pushing me over the edge and I want to scream. And then sometimes I would scream at my 2-year-old for having these preferences that seemed so silly, or for quote unquote manipulating me. Like, he would do this and then he would do that, and I would label that as he's manipulating me into doing whatever he wanted. And then I noticed, like, oh my God, I'm mad and thinking that a 2-year-old can manipulate me. And I come from a teaching background. And one of the things that I can label it now and talk about it now, but at the time I didn't really, like, I couldn't understand it. I was like, why? The only words that were coming to me were, why am I like this? Why am I ruining my kid? Why am I losing my shit all the time? Why can't I XYZ? Like, be more patient or be more understanding. And based on my teaching background, I was a middle school teacher for years. And what I was noticing is like, oh my God, if I keep doing this, if I keep losing my shit all the time and feeling this angry so constantly, my kid is going to grow up to be one of those kids in my classroom that just are so irritating and so annoying and require all of my attention or all of the teacher's attention. And I knew deep down that like I wanted something different. I wanted more connection. I wanted to have more ease. I was telling myself I just want to fucking quit every day. Perhaps not every single day, but it felt like so constant.
It was weighing on you every single day for sure. Yeah.
It was definitely weighing on me every single day. And I was not even appreciating the good moments.
Yeah.
I was just like, this isn't going to last. So why even bother? So it was just a constant feeling of dread and shame. And what I know now is that there's parents struggle with different ages of their, like, they struggle at different times. And part of that is our own children are going to poke our wounds in a way that nobody else ever will. And part of that is that we are so connected. In my experience, I birthed my own child, so we have DNA in common. And I'm his caretaker, his sole caretaker. And I believe that this is true for even parents with adopted children or adopted parents who are having their own children. Like, this is not a unique experience to a person who births their own child or shares DNA. But there's a specific type of relationship that parents and their children have, or caregivers and their children have. Like, I'm the only person caring for this human being. They rely on me. Our relationship is so much more important. And so they're going to poke wounds that we know we have, that we don't know we have, that we ignore, that we aren't aware of. So my child was poking at wounds that I didn't know existed for me, especially at age 2. And this is another thing I've learned. It's like when your child reaches the age at which you were, when you have experienced some of your biggest traumas in life, you're gonna have a different kind of experience. They're gonna have emotions well up.
Yeah, so big. Such a big deal. I'm gonna put this on mute here. Yeah, such a big deal. That's a real fucking thing. Yeah.
And you may not see it coming. You may not know, which is why I didn't recognize myself. Like, my son was 2, and because the rage and the resentment inside of me was bubbling up so frequently, I was like, there's gotta be, like, I don't know who I am. Like, who is this person coming out of my mouth? Who is this person who is taking over my body with this deep, overwhelming rage and anger and resentment and frustration and shame? Because all my life I thought myself to be a pretty confident, easygoing person. With a great childhood. Turns out, like, that was a coping strategy to believe my childhood was all perfect. I just glazed right over the fact that, there were some beliefs that I created as a 2-year-old, 3-year-old, 4-year-old, and beyond that have carried into my adulthood and no longer serve me. And this is why this anger is coming up.
I love that you're touching on the area of the so-called perfect, like, childhood, growing up, all those things. I mean, there's so many people, not so many, but there have been a handful of people that I've heard, well, I just, I didn't really have a lot of trauma in my background, which maybe they didn't, some people don't have trauma in their background. So I don't really have a lot of things to, like, be angry about. I don't really, didn't feel a lot of reason to have any anger, any of the things. And I'm just like, okay, like, it's like I take it at face value. I'm like, okay, well, maybe you don't, but I would say, since anger is a natural, normal human emotion, what you're probably doing is downplaying it, right? Like, well, my parents were good. They didn't abuse me. I didn't have anything that was really traumatic. So that thing that I seem to get kind of angry or irritated by isn't really a thing to get irritated by. So you just shove it under the rug and don't ever actually look at it. And I'm sorry, but that builds, when you can't talk about that, or don't talk about it, or don't acknowledge it, at least, it builds. And then you're right. And then it explodes.
Yes. And our brains are literally meaning-making machines. And so when we have this rage, we want to make sense of it.
Yes.
Like, that is what our brain is yearning for. Like, make sense of this so that I feel safe. Because without, like, understanding things in the world and how they work and why they're the way they are, our brain feels unsafe.
Yep.
So that was the other experience I think I was having alongside this rage that was coming out of me, this anger. I was like, this doesn't make any sense to me. Why is this here? And so I felt really unsafe. And I wanted, like, my first reaction was to escape. I just wanted to leave. I wanted to run the fuck away from everything. And then, of course,
so your trauma response your trauma response was flight, right? Was like, I need to flee. I need to get the fuck out. Yeah, which I tell people all the time, like, when you finally do, and maybe you can tell me if it's true for you as well, when you finally do that anger and rage, that sacred rage and anger work, what happens is you still feel your trauma responses, for the most part, on some level anyway. Excuse me. But you're able to think and act during the trauma response. So instead of fleeing, you're able to, like, go, oh, here's that thing again, is making me want to, and there's a conversation. Okay, why am I feeling this? Why am I really feeling this? And you're able to actually maybe say what it is that you, like, need in that moment, and in order to support yourself. And maybe it is, I'm feeling like I need to run right now, so I need you to blah, 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 blah. Or I need to just go sit in the other room for like 5-10 minutes, and then I need to come back. Like, whatever it is, you're usually able to work through that emotion and take control instead of the trauma response taking control of you, which is really powerful. Priceless.
Yes, absolutely. And that was the missing piece for me. So my son was 2, and that's when I realized, I need some help. And because I'm an educator, I've spent my whole life in the education field. And of course I spent half of my life in public education. And so my response was like, oh, all I need is more information. So I started gathering the books and reading just stacks and stacks of parenting books and listening to every parenting podcast. And a couple of years later, guess what? Nothing had changed. All I had was like, oh, I can see so very clearly all the things I'm doing wrong, because I know all the things I could be doing.
But now I don't know where to fucking put it all. Where I still feel, where do I put the anger? Yeah.
Yes. Like, but how do I actually do that stuff? Because I'm still losing my shit and I'm still angry all the time. And that's when I had this epiphany, like, it's not information, because I have all that information in my brain. It's
somatic, right? It's not up here. Now it's in the body. We need to do something to get it out of the body. Yep.
Yeah. So I was like, okay, so I have the piles of parenting books and the podcasts. I've consumed all the information. It's not a lack of information that is keeping me from doing things differently or feeling a different experience or wanting to have fun in parenting. It's like something else. And that's when I heard about this thing called parent coaching. And I was like, I don't know what it is, but I definitely need it. And that is when I learned how to co-regulate. I had a coach who could sit with me and hear me express all of the feelings that I needed to express and remain separate from me.
Yes.
And give me that experience, because I don't think I'd ever experienced co-regulation in this way of, like, receiving all of my feelings and just being this sturdy, strong human that's like, oh, I see you, you're hurting. you're in pain.
Yeah, you had to have space
Then,
held for you to talk about the things that
yeah,
were that. So was there any somatics involved in that? Like any actual yelling, screaming, like
yes.
moving through all that?
Um, yes, I don't think that I was in coaching sessions yelling and screaming, but I was able to process the emotional experience and reconnect with my prefrontal cortex and with
Good.
my logical brain and be like, oh, this is what's going on. There was a lot of crying and a lot of connection making experiences where I was like having these major ahas about, oh, my greatest trauma happened when I was 2, and this is what happened. And oh yeah, guess what? This is like a familial generational trauma that seems to be happening in my family lineage every time there's a 2-year-old. This
Wow.
is fascinating.
Wow. That's fucking amazing. Wow, that's a huge, huge aha moment. Holy crap,
Mhm.
that's incredible.
Yeah, like not in both sides of my family too. It's fascinating.
Wow.
But the more conversations I was able to like open up to with families, I would be able to learn more about what happened in my past and why this might be coming up for me. And of course, my my process has been making sense of my own childhood and why I have held on to this anger and rage and why it's coming out when I have a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old. And it's my story and it's working for me. And it probably isn't exactly true from every angle if you were to hear my mom's story and my dad's story, but like it's one that makes sense for me and helps me stay peaceful now and compassionate to myself and to my family and to my child. And I don't think it's ever about assigning blame to anybody because I do believe my parents are doing the absolute best they possibly could
Mhm.
when I was a child, and they still are today. And I was doing the best that I could as a parent to a 2-year-old. And I still am today. And I still sometimes lose my shit. And I'm just so much easier on myself because I allow myself to feel angry sometimes
Yes.
because it's part of the rainbow of human emotions. And it's really important to be able to acknowledge and express the things that come up.
Well, not only
And
that, but you're also modeling for your children
yeah,
that it's okay to feel anger. That this is how we work through it. Like, so tell me if you want to, maybe like one or two or just one or whatever it comes out for you that you want to share of how it is that maybe now in the moment when you start to feel that anger and rage around your child because of your child, like whatever's happening, what tool are you using that maybe you can pass along to the listeners of what to do for them in that moment? Like what works best for you, do you feel like?
all right. I'm going to answer your question with a story because it
Perfect.
happened very, very recently. And I want all the listeners to know that just because I'm a parent coach doesn't mean that I'm a perfect parent, nor is that ever my goal anymore.
Yeah, just like
It's just
I'm an anger coach and I still get angry as fuck. Yes, like none of us are perfect.
exactly. And I think that's the beautiful thing about like coming into just more peace with ourselves and more
Yes.
compassion with ourselves and our humanity is there is no end place. There's not like a place where you get to that you're perfect and you're done.
No,
We're
that's not part of the human
constantly
journey. No.
we're
Yeah.
we're constantly evolving. We're
Yes.
constantly experiencing new things that are opening up deeper parts of ourselves.
Absolutely.
And it's
That's
going to
human.
bring up all the
That's
emotions.
human. And I think that, before you get into that story, I just want to point out too, before I forget, because I do that now with my lovely perimenopause brain. I think some of the tools also, if you'll recognize, I think from what I'm hearing you say as well, is that when you start to feel that anger and you allow yourself to feel the anger, and we're not talking about allow yourself to feel the anger where you hit your child or you throw shit. Like there's a difference, and I'm sure you're going to give an example of like again how to use those tools to move through in the moment. But when you allow yourself to do that and you don't put blame onto yourself, that's what actually keeps you continuing to be able to keep calm and to not feel as angry. Because when we put that pressure on ourselves, that's ultimately where I've noticed with my clients where most of their anger comes from. I'm angry because I couldn't make it through the moment. I'm angry because I couldn't speak up for myself. I'm angry because I didn't tell that person to stop touching me or I didn't like what they were doing. I'm angry at myself because I could not move through that trauma response at all. I couldn't do anything to help myself. And so when you have that compassion for yourself, it allows the emotions to move through you so they don't stay stuck and keep building to a place where it now explodes into, yes, possible violence towards your child and other people and yourself.
Oh, so true.
So, yeah.
I feel that.
Yes. So
Yeah.
it's such a big fucking deal. Like it really fucking is.
And that's, I think you hit the nail on the head. It's like, I allow myself to express what's real for me more than I used to. I used to bottle it up and just hold it inside until that cup was so overflowing that it could not stay. The pressure was so extreme that it had to go somewhere. And that's when I would explode. And now my explosions are smaller because I do it more frequently in safe spaces and I repair.
Yes.
I find value in the process of expressing myself and I'm like, okay, how can we learn from this? And I'll share the story in a second, but the tool that I use is curiosity.
Curiosity. Interesting. Yes, expand.
So simple. Yet it's like, how do I do that? And I just want to name that when I first started doing this work with a coach, like my coach would say things like, okay, our anger is an invitation to explore. Like, where is this coming from? What's really going on for you? And I didn't understand it. I couldn't comprehend, like, what the fuck is she even saying? We have foreign language.
I don't have anything to be angry
Anger-
about, so I don't know where the fuck it's
Anger
coming
is
from.
an invitation? What? So I just want to name that because if any listeners are also in that place where they're like, yeah, get curious about my anger, I don't understand that. It's okay. Nothing has gone wrong. You're not a bad person or not intelligent because you don't understand that yet. It's just that your body might not be ready to look at that yet.
Yes, but just asking the question, I promise you, will start unraveling things slowly for you. So our bodies are listening all the time. So the minute you start asking, why is this happening? What is this all about? Shit starts to fucking unravel. You'll notice it just happens. So
yeah. So starting something, doing something that doesn't make logical sense eventually will. Like eventually your body will be like,
catch up.
Looking at it differently. And your subconscious is behind the scenes doing that work.
Right.
Too.
Most definitely. The thing is like what people don't understand too is like your anger is held. Well, any of your shadow work, really your shadow emotions that the shadow emotions just mean emotions that you don't want to look at. So you put them in the shadows. Really, that's what it is. Right. And then they kind of creep out from time to time. But when your anger especially lives in your body. Okay. So or your grief or your sadness or anything that you are not expressing, allowing is going to live in your body. So when you start to say something like, oh, where's this coming from? It's like your body starts to wake up. Energy starts to move. And it's because really, honestly, the energy is always trying, especially anger is action and movement. So it's trying to find a way to move out, to actually do something in the world and something for you instead of against you. But when you're not letting it out, it's still movement. It's still action. It's still doing things inside of your body. So the minute you start to give it some sort of outlet out, yes, it will start happening.
100%. Yeah. Okay. So just a few weeks ago, my family and I were staying at a cabin with some friends. So there was 3 families and we were kind of sharing the meal prep duties. And so our friends had made this beautiful lunch. They had set it all out, set the table and everything. We had to call the kids out in from the lake to have lunch. So all the kids come dripping wet in their swimsuits and wrap a towel around themselves and come to this beautiful lunch. We have lunch together. And after lunch, we were all having wonderful conversations. And I asked my son if he would help clear the plate for everybody, not just himself. He's great at doing it for himself. But in that moment, he got really upset with me for asking him to help with the community dishes. And so he got angry and he yelled at me. He's like, no, why should I have to do that for everybody? It's not my dishes. And I got really activated because I wanted my son to show that he's, part of the community and take responsibility and help out. And he was refusing. And so oh boy, I got really warm in my body and I was like kind of yelling at him. I don't remember exactly what I said because in the heat of that moment, I was not, connected to my logical brain. That way.
Right.
So I kind of lost it and he ended up like storming out of the cabin and I stayed inside because I recognized that I needed a moment to cool down. And once I took some deep breaths and I checked in with myself, I was like, I felt really angry just then. And I felt really activated so much so that I kind of yelled at my kid, which I don't do very often anymore, but this was my invitation. And I recognize it as this now. I was like, I wonder what that was about, what was going on. And the answer didn't come to me immediately, but I asked myself the question as I was trying to reconnect with my own breath and my own logical brain. And so I just asked myself the question, I wonder what that was about. Where was that coming from? And a little while later, the answer that came to me was, oh boy, I am being invited into some self-reflection because I'm asking my son to come into a community situation and take care of the whole community by taking his dishes. While at home, I ask him to take his own dishes and I don't regularly ask him to support with the family dishes. So, and a couple of the reasons why is it takes me asking him, which takes effort and thought and, preemptive.
And a possible reaction.
Practice. Yes. And sometimes I have to deal with a reaction and sometimes I get frustrated and irritated. It takes longer. It's not done the way that I want it to. All of those reasons. So what I have done as a protective measure for myself is just do it myself. I know I'm going to do it quickly. I know it's going to be done to my standards and I don't have to ever engage in a fight.
Right.
And now in this community situation, I'm feeling really frustrated because I haven't actually taught my son the skill of taking care of the community.
So how old is he?
He's 9.
So he's 9. So even in his 9-year-old body, he also may have felt the pressure of that and the pressure of like, what if I don't do it well and I don't do it right? I've never done that. And I don't know how to do that. So his reaction, which is making me laugh because how many of us get defensive when we get into a situation where we feel like we can't do something right or aren't going to do something right or somebody triggers us. Like that's literally our 9-year-old little self that comes out and starts to act like that hasn't been regulated, right? So, like, what a lesson to learn from your child in this moment for everybody of just like, yeah, that's our own little inner child going, I don't want to do that. I don't know how to do that. What if I mess up? People laugh at me. What if I don't do it right? Like, so much pressure we put on ourselves.
Absolutely. And asking him to do that in front of his friends and in front of a whole bunch of other adults. It's like he didn't want to do it wrong. He didn't want to fail. So he got pissed.
Yeah.
And ran out.
Yeah.
Yeah. So my anger was an invitation to self-reflect. And it has taken some time to get to this place where I can turn around and do that self-reflection quickly. And I don't do it perfectly. I'm still growing that skill and that, that process. And it's so much easier to forgive myself when I look at it that way. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, that's where that was coming from. And it's so much easier for me to understand my son
Yeah. So
when
what
I,
was the conversation that you had with him? Like, did you go to him right after you realized you're a part in it and sit him down and talk to him? Like, what happened after that between the two of you?
I intentionally try to do that repair process when I feel regulated and open to that conversation.
Definitely.
And I also want to make sure that my son is open and available for that conversation. I like to call it being huggable. So if I if I feel open to a hug, that's when I'm ready to have that
Love
conversation.
that. I love that. That's how you know that your nervous system is like available to like
Yeah.
be present and have the conversation. And I love that. That's
Yeah.
amazing.
And think about this it's harder to do with my partner. It's harder to get to that place of being huggable with my partner than it is with my child. But we're still working on that. It just takes longer, I think.
Yeah.
But yes, it is a really good sign. Like when you are feeling huggable, that's when you repair. Because then you can be totally connected to your full brain instead of in just the emotional centers, which isn't a great place to have a conversation.
Right.
But I did connect with him and I said, hey, bud, are you open to having a conversation about what happened at lunch today when I yelled at you? Because I feel really sad that I did that, and I'm really trying and working hard to do things differently. And here's what I noticed, and I shared the story. Like, I noticed that I'm not really giving you an opportunity to learn this skill of looking around and helping the community. And you know why? Because I have my own wounds around perfectionism and doing things right. And it feels safer for me to avoid the frustration and irritation and conflict that could arise when I ask you to help. And so I'm working on that because you need to learn skills too of looking around and taking care of a community. But that wasn't the right time to teach you a lesson.
Yeah.
So
Right.
the fact that I used those words, teach you a lesson, that's not how I want to be modeling anything for my child either.
Yeah.
Like I have this deep yearning to teach him, but that's not when anybody's going to be open, right? When you have, just like
Right.
you were saying, when we have that pressure and we're being watched by many eyeballs and all those things, it's like that's not when learning is available.
No.
Learning is available
Very shut
when
down.
we're feeling huggable.
Yeah. Not feeling huggable. You touch me, I might fucking punch you. Yeah, it's more. Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
And rightfully so, honestly. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. So how did he respond to that?
Well, I mean, we've cultivated a relationship at this point where he can share like what was going on for him. And, I don't honestly remember exactly what he said
Yeah.
back to me, but he was really open to the conversation and connected and he gave me a big hug. I do remember that. And because repair is how we reconnect and strengthen our bond.
And it is the parent's job to initiate that for the most part. I mean, unless, I mean, really, I guess, no, I'm going to take it back. It's the parent's job to initiate that. And whether that's an initiate of, hey, did you want to tell me how you feel after all that? Like if it's their fault, so to speak, something they just like, let's say your child just walked up and hit you across the face for some reason. You know what I mean? Like that would be the reason to go up and go, well, you want to tell me what's going on with that moment for you? Like what happened there? But I think it is the parent's job to initiate. And I just want to commend you for being a child with parents who didn't ever have those fucking conversations, and just say thank you for being a parent who, I love that you asked consent. Hey, are you open to having this conversation? It's amazing to me. I think it's just so incredible. And I just think it's beautiful that your son has gotten your commitment to your own healing and then modeling that behavior toward your child has now And what I can see clearly is now your child at the age of 9 knows how to have a mature emotional conversation to the age of a 9-year-old anyways, the level of a 9-year-old, of
Yeah.
what they're feeling. And even the act of hugging you was like, even for like a male child especially, like it just sounds like you're an amazing parent. And they're learning how to, like you're saying, co-regulate in that moment. They're learning how to, and I'm sure there's conversations you've had where he doesn't hug you and he's probably still upset a little bit when you leave the conversation, or he's like, no, I don't want to talk to you about that. And I just want to acknowledge that about you, what you're doing for especially a future male child, future male human in this world.
Yeah.
Just amazing.
Yeah, I think it's the best thing I could be doing in the world. It's the most rewarding thing that I could be doing in the world.
Mhm.
And it totally changed my life. It's kept my family together. I really wanted to leave my husband, a family, everything when he was young. And through the work that I've done in parenting, it has helped me reconnect with my husband in a much more powerful, deep, and like real way.
Yeah.
Because I practiced that repair with him as well, and it has brought us way closer. And we understand each other on so much, like, better is a really generic word, but really, it's true. It's like we understand each other
Yeah.
really, instead of just making up stories, because that's what I did in my childhood. I was left alone to make up the story of why things happened. And as children, when they're left alone to make up the story about what anything is, what is happening in their world, they become the center of it, and they interpret the world as it's because I'm not fill in the blank.
Yep.
I'm not worthy. I'm not enough. I'm not lovable. I'm not good.
I'm the problem. Yeah, because again, our brains, even at especially young ages, are still trying to make sense. Like you're saying, they're just a meaning machine. They're trying to make a meaning of everything, and so it's not going to go to a space of like, oh, everything's happy and great. Well, something's wrong. Well, how do I fix that? Well, the only way I know how to fix that, because it's just me, is to blame myself, so my brain can try to figure out how to fix it. Like it's just really, So again, just beautiful work that you're doing. I just think it's so important. Like it's so important, the conversations.
It's the safest way to interpret the world is that they're the fault. They're the ones that are at fault.
Yeah.
Because they rely on the grown-ups in their lives. These children rely on the grown-ups in their lives to meet their every need.
Yes.
And if it's the grown-ups' fault that I'm left alone and I'm not getting my needs met, or that I'm not being attended to with my emotions, then that's not a very safe feeling.
Right.
To believe that your grown-up who you rely on for everything is not capable. So as children, we make our grown-ups be the most capable, perfect human beings, and we must be at fault.
Yeah.
And so if we're not tended to or acknowledged or validated for our experiences, then we must be not okay. There must be a flaw inside of us.
Yeah. Yeah. And if you have parents who are not mature, you have immature parents, or you have parents who haven't, yes, our parents did the best that they could. I mean, your parents sound like there wasn't a whole lot of just like abuse happening, right? So I just want to also commend you for being able in that moment in your car to be able to say, okay, if I'm having this thought, I need to get some help. When I feel like a lot of parents don't do that and they just continue to shove it under the rug, and then they do leave, or worse, in my opinion, create actual abuse of some sort, because they're not and don't have the courage and the bravery to actually go and find that assistance and help for themselves.
Or they just like disappear emotionally from the relationship. That's what happens a lot too. Yeah. Like they don't feel like they have the strength to get out or to get help, or they feel like, oh my gosh, if I go to therapy, or I find a coach, or I find some sort of external help, I'm saying this because this is a thought that I had. If I go get help, I'm going to find out that I actually am broken.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's like you still had the courage and the bravery to do that for your child, despite that actually maybe happening. And I, again, want to acknowledge that because it takes bravery, it takes courage. And in my opinion, if you're going to be a parent, these are the things you have to do. It's not fucking about you anymore for the most part. I mean, it's always about you, but in those moments, you know, your child's health is the most important thing. So you need to have the fucking bravery and courage to go find out if you're fucking broken. Because if you are, that's the only way to fix it. You know, just allowing yourself to stay in the fear of possibly being broken is, I don't know the way of saying it without saying it the way I just would, which is, that's coward as fuck. And I personally don't have a tolerance for it. I really fucking don't. I have a very low tolerance for people who know they should be doing something and don't fucking do it, especially where there's children involved. Like, I don't care how scared you are. I don't give a fuck. Nobody cares how scared you are. You have a small child that was in the space that you were in that needed somebody to do what you should be doing that never actually fucking did it. And that's why you are the way you are. So you have to be the one that breaks the fucking cycle. And you have to have the courage and the bravery. You have to feel the fear and do it anyway. And if you can't get to that place, then you need to be getting assistance to get you to that place. Like, you've got to start somewhere. I don't care if it's literally saying out loud to God, your guides, whoever the fuck, give me the courage to go get some fucking assistance and help. Because they will help you in that sense, by the way. We often forget that we have the assistance of the other side. You know, and I like to try to bring this in on every fucking podcast episode on some aspects because people forget. Like, and again, I don't care if it's the trees. I don't care if it's your higher self. I don't care if it's, you know, your animal totems. I don't give a shit what it is. But you gotta, if you can't do something to help your child because you're afraid of what it's going to bring up in yourself, you need to be reaching out to something outside of yourself to assist you, to give you that feeling, the feeling of courage and bravery to be able to do that, because there is no fucking excuse. And it makes me very angry. There is no fucking excuse for you to sit in your fear and not go fucking help yourself so your child can become healthier and not become what you have become in that moment. And what are almost becoming or could become in the sense of like how you were abused or treated and all the things. So it's just, I just want to commend you because I just don't. I've stopped working with people who need me to convince them that they need my work because they're so afraid of their anger and so afraid of their fear that you're not ready. You're not ready to scream your face off yet. Now, there are people who are legit, I'm saying everyone, every single fucking one of them, they're legit terrified to do this work. They're just like, they show up and I've seen them visually like shaking and starting to cry before they even fucking get their first word out. And they're still showing up to do it.
Yeah.
You know, and that's why I have this podcast because, and why I have a free ebook that's like fucking 50 pages and why I have it's like a $67, not free. I think it's like $4, the fucking ebook, but I have like a $67, like 5-week online program you can go through for those people that are just like, I am terrified to step into this. That's why this is being done, because I want people to let this stuff start to move that energy so you can get to a space of safety. And like for you, even doing what you did, if you can't go get the help in the sense of like seeing another person, pick up a book, listen to a podcast, listen to my fucking shit, go whatever, you know, there's lots of other anger coaches as well. Like, if you're a person sitting here listening to this and you're like, oh shit, Tasha's talking to me and I'm actually getting really pissed off at her. Good. Yep. I'm glad you're getting mad at me. Please use me as a space for you to get pissed off. I fucking love that shit. I'll hold space for that all day long. I want that. Use me as a space. I don't care. It's coming up. It's coming out. But it's speaking to you. It's saying, oh shit, this is me. There's something here. And if you can't go and get the assistance right now, in this moment, at least sit with it to do what you're talking about, Maya, which is, where's this coming from? How can I move this? How can I, dear God, give me fucking strength to have the courage to figure out where this is coming from in me, because I can't carry it anymore. I can't pass it along to my child the way it was passed to me and to my mom and to my dad, and so on and so on and so on.
Yeah.
It's got to stop somewhere. And if you, I'm trying not to get really angry about this, if you are okay with letting your child now be the one that has to break the motherfucking curse that you've been cursed to carry, fuck you. Fuck you. That's how I feel about that. Because if you know that you're supposed to do something to fix it and you're not, and you're instead going to let your child carry that, go fuck yourself. And I mean that with every fucking fiber of my being. It's not an excuse. Get your fucking shit together. Get your work done. So thank you for doing it and doing the work, Maya, because it's a big deal.
I want to acknowledge that what you're saying is so true about, like, if this is activating you in any way, if there's anger coming up in you and you're noticing, oh my God, I am passing along patterns that I collected as a child and that are not bringing up positive emotions in me as an adult, that means that you have some work to do. And this is your invitation. The anger that comes up in you is an invitation. And if you are brave enough to hold up the mirror and ask yourself, what is this from? Where is this coming from? And how can I choose to move through it and get some help and support?
Yes.
Every single time I have expanded in my self-concept, in my confidence, in my self-trust, in moving forward in my life in a powerful fucking way, it's because of a moment where I was so activated and angry that I finally asked myself, oh boy, what is this bringing up in me?
Yeah, it's movement. Anger is trying to move you into the next level of your life. It's trying to clear. It's either going to create a fire to destroy things in a good way or a motherfucking bad way. And you get to decide how that fire is going to burn. Either you're going to control the burn, it's going to be a controlled burn, or it's going to burn everything out of control. And now you're going to have to build in a way that's going to cause even more strife and grief and self-blame and shame and all the fucking things. You know, that's where people, you know, that's your sacred rage, right? When your sacred rage is moving through you to move you into another space to help heal you, not to help make things worse, you know? So,
this sentence is coming to me. It's like the rage inside of you is asking you to burn something down and create power.
Yes.
For your own self and your own life, and choose what you want in your relationships with yourself and with your children, versus having the world, to rage, burn things down, like you were saying, and having the world do it for you. Do you want to be in a place of power I get to choose? Or do you want to feel like a victim? I spent a lot of my life feeling like the victim of the world until I decided to take ownership and use that rage in a powerful way to decide I do not want to pass this on to my child. I want to shift.
Thank you for that.
Stuff.
Yeah, and you want to teach them to be able to shift their own stuff, and you're not. It's so difficult to do it on your own. I had to do it on my own. I had to teach myself how to move through my anger and through my rage and through the things that I thought were bad in me because they pushed my family away. I really need to stop saying that. It didn't push my family away. My family was not capable of holding space for my anger and rage. And so they fucking left. That's really what happened. So I didn't have somebody to hold me in that space and tell me, okay, get mad. Go ahead. Get mad. Get fucking pissed off. Go ahead. You want to yell? You want to scream at me? You want to be mad? Get mad. Or to say, wow, there's an issue here. Yes, I had 3 other siblings. Okay, yes, the other siblings don't have this and Tasha does. Okay, maybe there's a problem. And sitting down and trying to figure it out, or putting me in counseling, or having the conversation, or I don't know, spending time with me, which is what I really fucking wanted. You know what I mean? So you have to be able to model it and pull them through it as well. And if you're not learning those tools, you don't know how to do that, And now again, you've just created the circle continuing and never completing, which sucks.
Yep. Yeah.
Not cool. Well, this has been an amazing and powerful conversation, Maya. I just, thank you so much for showing up and talking about, I had no idea we were going to talk about parent-child anger. I had no idea that was going to happen. Another reason why I just go, okay, why are we here today? And just let stuff, God and spirit move through us and see what happens. So thank you for that. Thanks everybody for listening. Every Sunday I try to have a new episode up. And if you want to be a guest, please let me know. Again, sisterhoodofsacredfire@gmail.com. Maya, anything you want to leave everybody with?
Well, if you are a parent who considers yourself a active person and you are really trying to be intentional about creating a lifelong relationship with your children, and you're feeling like you're failing or you're stuck or you're experiencing a lot of shame, I am your person. I work one-to-one with parents to really deeply root yourself in self-trust and knowing that you are doing the very best that you can in every single moment in parenting, and that, there's going to be rough spots for every single one of us. And part of that is like the best stuff of parenting too, because we learn through challenge.
Yes.
And we grow closer to pain. So, and repair.
Yep, but which only leads you to more of a, what was that?
Oh, I just say you can reach out to me on Instagram, or you can email me. Again, it's maya@mayaleajames.com.
Perfect. And that's MAYALEAJAMES. For those that, if it does, I don't know if it shows up at the bottom or not, your name actually goes in. Yeah. All right, everyone. Thanks again for tuning in. I appreciate it. If you made it through this whole thing, be proud of yourself, because there were some intense moments in there. All right. We'll see you on the next one, everyone. Okay. Bye.